This video is about using negative numbers in practical contexts and calculating across 0. So here we have a number line showing you some negative numbers, then 0, and then positive numbers. So negative numbers are numbers that are less than 0. We can see here 0. We can see the positive numbers that we're all very familiar with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're going off in that direction. But then also less than 0, we have these numbers, -1, -2, -3, -4, -1, -2, -3, -4. And these are the numbers we're particularly thinking about in this video. So we're going to work through a few problems. The first one we're going to start with is how to find the difference between 4 and -3. So we're going to use this number line to help us. So how would we work out the difference between 4 and -3? Well, a really good way is to use the number line. So here's our number line. Let's locate our points. So we've got -3 here and we've got 4 here. And what we're basically trying to do is to find the difference between them. So let's think about that as the jumps along the number line to get from one of these numbers to the other one. So let's start counting the jumps. We start with -3, 1, 2, 3. So 3 jumps takes us to 0. Then we need 1, 2, 3, 4 more jumps to get us to 4. So 3 jumps and 4 more jumps, that's 7 jumps altogether. We did it continuously, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's how we would find the difference between 4 and -3. The difference is 7. The difference between 4 and -3 is 7. We could think about that in the opposite direction, of course. So this time we could think about what happens if we want to move between 4 and -3. Then the jumps are going to be in the opposite direction. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps to get us to 0. And then 1, 2, 3 more jumps to get us to -3. So again, 7 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The difference between -3 and 4 is 7. The difference between 4 and -3 is 7. The difference between 4 and -3 is 7. This time it's for you to have a go at sketching out a number line each time and work out these 3 problems. So you only need a short number line just like this one. So number 1 is to find the difference between -2 and 5, -2 and 5. The second is to find the difference between -1 and 1, -1 and 1. And third, to find the difference between 5 and -4, 5 and -4. So have a go at those, pause the video while you try. So hopefully you managed to do that, and these are the answers you should have found. So the difference between -2 and 5 is 7. -2 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The difference between -1 and 1 is 2. So -1, 1 jump gets you to 0, 1 more jump gets you to 1. Find the difference between 5 and -4. The answer that time is 9. So from 5 to -4, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps that gets us to 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4 more jumps that gets us to -4. Altogether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 jumps. Now we're going to try these problems which involve temperature. Quite often you will get temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius, and so often problems involving temperature will involve thinking about negative numbers. So we've got two problems here. The first one, the temperature rises from -8 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. By how many degrees does it rise? So again, this is really thinking about difference. So you start off thinking about -8, that's where the temperature was, and then maybe the next day the temperature has risen quite a lot and it's now 5 degrees Celsius. So you're finding out what's the difference between -8 degrees Celsius and 5 degrees Celsius. So again, you're counting steps. And then the second problem, the temperature falls from 6 degrees Celsius to -4 degrees Celsius. So it's moving in the opposite direction. This time the temperature is falling, it's getting colder. But again, you're finding the difference between 6 and -4. So see if you can manage both of those problems, sketch yourself out a number line and pause the video while you work those two out. And hopefully you will have these answers. So in the first problem, the temperature rises from -8 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius. By how many degrees does it rise? And the answer is by 13 degrees. So we can count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 degrees. The second problem, the temperature is falling from 6 degrees down to -4 degrees. By how many degrees does it fall? And the answer is 10. So it starts here and it's falling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 10 degrees colder. Well done for working those out. And we've got finally one last problem to think about, because another situation where you do have negative numbers sometimes is when people are thinking about money and money in the bank. So in this problem, it starts off with my bank balance is -5. So this means that I'm overdrawn by £5. So I actually don't have any money in the bank. I owe the bank £5. So my bank balance is right down here. I pay in £7, but that doesn't mean I have £7 in the bank because I started off, I was overdrawn. So what's my new bank balance? And again, this time we're working out, we're counting, we have the jumps. So we have the problem telling us how many jumps to make, and we're finding out where do we end up. So this is a slightly different way of thinking about the problem. But again, the principle is essentially the same. So I start at -5, which is where my bank balance was. I was overdrawn by £5. And then I'm going to pay in £7, which means I'm going to make 7 jumps towards the left, towards 0, towards the positive numbers. And I'm going to see where I end up. So here I start at the -5 and I'm going to start making my jumps. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it means my new bank balance is £2. I've paid off the amount I was overdrawn by, which was the £5, and that got me to 0. And then there were 2 extra pounds, so now I have those £2 in my bank balance. So thank you for listening. I hope that's helped you to understand the negative numbers and how they work. Remember, we've got negative numbers, which are numbers less than 0. We need to bear in mind 0, and a number line is a really good way of helping us to think about these problems and use these numbers. Thank you for listening. Lily Fullick Learning.